Hello everybody, my name is Christina Earl. I'm the Head of Innovation and Business Development at Surrey Choices. I'm delighted to have the opportunity today to talk to you a little bit about supporting people into work and into adulthood and where Surrey Choices may be able to assist you in that. First of all, let me tell you a little bit about Surrey Choices. We're a local authority trading company. So that really means that we're owned by Surrey County Council. And we have a number of different elements. We have some activity centres, outreach, we have an employment service, shared lives, a respite service in Banstead, and lots of new projects I'm going to tell you about. This photo here is one of our community groups coming out during lockdown, clearing up the parks to make sure that they're good for their own local community. Now, our day activities, there are 22 different centres across Surrey. And they do a lot of work around things like creative arts or socialising, teaching people independent skills. But things have changed a bit. Since COVID, the majority of those centres closed during the lockdown, and now they're slowly opening up. But this is predominantly for people who are in the most need. And that would generally be people living at home with family carers. And there's also another change. Just before COVID, we'd already started looking at different ways of delivering day services. Some of these day services have people who've been in them many, many years. And when new younger people are coming forward, they sometimes want different things and delivered in different ways. So we have a program called Changing Days, which is changing the way that we deliver this sort of support, which means a lot more in the community and outreach. We also have what we call our vocational projects, and that's something that's going to be a real priority over the next few months and years. We've already got a cafe in Banstead, we have a wood workshop, we have some office projects and some brilliant growth teams that do countryside management. But you'll see a lot more of those and a lot more development of how they can support people into work in its broadest sense, really. That could be volunteering or could be paid work. And I said this presentation is going to be quite a bit about work, and I say work can be for everybody because it's about how you contribute in whatever small way or as a full-time paid job. And our supported employment service, you may have heard of, is called Employability. It's one of our happy people here. And what do they do? Well, their job is to identify people's skills and interests. And this is where, as families, you can really help support us, because we need to know what you think as well, what people would really enjoy as a job, because we want to give them some real experience. So actually get them into a workplace and try out work in a real workplace. We'll help with job searching, all the normal stuff, CV writing. There's job clubs, which are all online at the moment because things are in a very different world. We can support an interview. We can actually, once somebody's got a job, whether it's paid or volunteering, we go into the workplace and support them in the workplace. So we do what we call job coaching, where we work with them and the employer, break down the task and help them learn it. And everything around it as well, because if you're going to get a job, you need to be quite fit, quite resilient. You need to be able to travel to work. So we'll teach the journey, get someone traveling there independently. And ideally, then they end up on our keep in touch list, which means we still contact them and the employer, because things can go wrong at any time. But we're always there, and the employer knows they can call, we can come back, do some extra job coaching if that's what's needed. And that family support is essential, because we're not there necessarily helping people get up in the morning, make sure they're wearing the right clothes, that they're clean and tidy with the right attitude. It's very much a joint and team effort. And as I say, it's work in its broadest sense. Sometimes it will be about how people can support their community doing something meaningful. But our aim, our long-term aim, is always paid work if it's a possibility. And we worked right through lockdown, and lockdown has been a change in the way lots of people work. And in fact, people haven't really thought about the fact many of the disabled people we work with, they worked through lockdown. We had 125 who were doing essential jobs. They might be working in supermarkets, in hospitals, in catering. They were doing jobs that were very much considered essential. We had 239 people who were furloughed. We had to work through and explain what that meant and hopefully keep them their jobs at the end of it. Because at any one time, we can be working with about 900 people. About half of those are in work or volunteering, and we're supporting them. we love the stories of people that we work with, and we've had some brilliant stories which are on YouTube. Here's a couple of examples. This is a dream job for many people.
My name's Rebecca and I am working at British Doggy Daycare. I get to be around with different dogs. They can be really shy and really happy to see you.
Rebecca is passionate about dogs. You can teach anyone to look after a dog, but you can't teach them to have a passion. And Rebecca has a passion for dogs and animals in general, so we spotted that immediately.
In the future, I think I see myself working with animals because I like being outside in the fresh air, learning how to deal with situations.
She's always here on time, she's reliable, she's trustworthy, she's responsible. She's so much more knowledgeable about dogs, her confidence has grown, and you can tell that she really enjoys being here. To other employees, I'd say go for it. We've got some fantastic staff here, and hopefully Rebecca's going to join us. She's as committed and professional as the rest of the staff here.
The advice I would give is follow your dreams and see where the path takes you.
And I'm pleased to say that Rebecca, since we've made that film, has actually been offered a paid job, so that she actually now does work at Doggy Daycare, which working with the puppies. There are plenty of people wanting to do all of their work experience there. Oops, let's just go back through here. It seems to be right, doesn't want to leave, Rebecca. Let's go on to the next one. Now here's an example from the other end of the spectrum. Rebecca's quite a young girl.
My name is Shane. I work at Premier and I'm a drug research assistant. My job role is to send to the counter, store handles, and then put the delivery away, enter the skip, and then serve customers. So I'm actually got customer service and make sure I get the right check, make sure I get the right things for them. My favourite thing about working here is serving customers.
I'm Sharon, I'm a retail manager for Arma. Since Shane has been with us for the last 2 years, his confidence improved, his personal skills, tin operation skills, they're all very good. They're very proud, yeah. He deserves it.
Oh yeah, I was out of work for 9.5 years, and I was very happy to get this job here. This job here is more confident than I used to be. When I won this award, I felt very excited and pleased for this award. Happy.
And Shane, as you can see, he put 9.5 years out of work. So it's fantastic that he actually then got a paid job. So we're working with people with all different levels of ability and interests. The other thing that we do, some of you may come across us, we work with a lot of the schools and colleges and help people get work experience. So the employability really is when people have left education and they're going to get some supported employment to find them a tailored job. But we also, working with schools, do individual 1 day a week work experience or block weeks. It depends on the school that we're working with. So that's funded separately. And we also do something called supported internships, which is often the last year when you're at education, when you're doing 3 days a week in an employer, unpaid, but with support to help you get those skills to get a paid job. New for last year was something called Future Choices, and it was a pilot year. We worked with a small number of young people, about 17 young people, and it was a 5 day a week programme for people which combined these skills that you need for work, but also health and well-being and making friends. And it really was focused on people who perhaps couldn't go to college because it wasn't the right environment for them, maybe too big and busy, or people who had finished with education but still weren't quite ready to go on to supported internship. So typically the placements might be more in a voluntary setting for them to get those experience. This is a real picture of someone getting some experience out in the fresh air, with our growth team, learning about countryside management, kids getting fit at the same time as getting work experience. And because there's so many different options, this sort of gives you an idea of what your journey might be. You might start off with some work experience at school or at college, and that might be provided by Employability or by the school or college. We're actually been, again, quite newly doing some specialist support hours. So some people aren't just ready. You know, if you've got somebody who's got extreme anxiety and is in their bedroom and is struggling to even come out of their bedroom, we can't put them straight on a 5-day programme. So we can work with the SEND team to get some individualised hours of support. And that could be just breaking down those barriers, literally learning to get on the bus, going out for a coffee, just getting people back into their community. Future choices, which is what I mentioned again, that's your 5 days a week. You've also got supported internships, which will often be follow on from the future choices, and then supported employment. But you might start your journey at any point along there. And of course, if you find paid work, you can leave. Our focus is making sure that you're ready for the future. So we're not going to keep you there for another year just because you've got a paid job. We're not all about employment. We also have other options which might be of interest. Shared lives. People tend to think of that, oh, it's like adult fostering. We've already got a family. But actually, it's not just about long-term arrangements. They'll do respite, maybe just odd days or a weekend in regular weeks. And that gives you some support in the local community. They can work on the skills that the young person needs, but it also gives carers a break, particularly if it's day support. And where we've seen it working really well is you build up relationships. So it means that if there was an issue, you know another family, another setting where people might be able to go and stay, say if you had to be taken into hospital or you needed to go abroad to see family. So it's something that can be really, really useful. We also have, generally for people with much more complex needs, short breaks at Banstead. That's a 6-bed respite service. It has been open during the pandemic, although we reduced it to 3 beds to make it easier for socially distancing and COVID. And this is for adults only, for 18 plus. So that's something, again, if you're already looking at respite, is for adults. And something that's, again, very COVID related and new is Flexi Choices. And this is a funded programme of respite for carers or family members who've received little or no support during the pandemic. And it's an evening and weekend support. So we have 3 choices to get the support. It can be building based, and the buildings that are open are Priory Gate, which is in Reigate, Fernley and Walton-on-Thames and Cranstock. And the building based, the reason why that can be suitable is it has hoists, it has sensory rooms, it's already designed for a day service, so for people with complex needs. So it has those facilities, changing rooms, toilets, that type of thing. It also could be, though, that you send the person that you're normally supporting to a shared lives carer. Now, maybe they just take them out to the cinema or take them out for you, or they could take them to their home, go and walk their dog, get involved in a different way. Or it could just be outreach that someone will take the young person out in the local community. And all of them have a bit of a mixture, because actually, if you're in building based, when we get to know people, we'll take people out as well as just leaving them in the building base. This has got no cost at the moment. It's short term, it's only till next March. It's very much based on interests and needs, but all referrals, if they come to us, have to be agreed by adult social care. So it will generally be people living with family carers who are struggling. People get offered a trial day, and then you'll get 6 weeks with a review for any additional hours. And if we've got availability, but this has proved very popular, as you can probably imagine, then we may be able to look at how we extend that. And the priority is for people with family carers, and it must be approved by the social care teams, but we can do that for you if you send the referral through. A couple of other things that we've been doing over this COVID time is Digitizer Visits. So we found a lot of stuff's online. Fantastic if you can do it, but a lot of the people we work with either didn't have the equipment or the skills. So we had an award-winning programme it's been nominated, shortlisted for an award. Well, our job was to break down barriers, and it could be people need kit, but often it's about helping set up the Wi-Fi, understand what a Wi-Fi is, understand how to get onto a Zoom call. So this Digitizer project was for Surrey Choices customers. We did get some funding from the Community Foundation for Surrey, some support from an IT company called Project 5. It was a really community feel, and it's still going because it's been so successful. We've currently helped 100 people to get online. Also, we obviously need to do internet safety, but it's been a really useful project. And something again new, which might be of interest, this is our latest pilot. It's called Travel Choices. It's for young people, age 11 up, or up to 24 if they have an EHCP. And it's really helping people travel independently. Now, the fact it's to school is almost irrelevant because it's about how do people get around in their community. Because once you can travel to school independently, you can travel to the cinema, to see your friends, to get a part-time job. So our role is to help break down the barriers. We can even fund if you need a bike, a travel card, all of that can be funded as part of Travel Choices. And it's working with families and young people to find them with a more sustainable way of travelling. It's a pilot, so at the moment it will be very limited numbers and we're getting those through Surrey County Council. But if this works, this is something that will be rolled out across the county. We are looking for travel coaches as well. So if you or anyone you know would be great at teaching someone how to cycle to school, catch the bus, walk independently, do let us know. But we're aiming to get 50 young people into a more sustainable way of travelling. And that's me. So that's given you an idea of who Surrey Choices are and what we can do. We're always open to give you advice and support if you want more information on travelling. If I just stop my sharing. So I hope that's useful. I know there's going to be a question and answer that we'll be able to answer any particular questions you've got, but we have a very friendly team of people who will be able to answer any questions you have on any of the things I've talked about today. Thank you.
Thank you, Christina.